Yes, it is actually streaming on Facebook as we speak. We're live on the Facebook members page. That's what you get when I buy a premium account, is we attempt to do that. So we may even struggle to fit everyone in. But we'll see. We will do our best to fit everyone in. And if not, they can watch it on the Facebook members page. It's almost like we planned this. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like we've planned it.
Morning, Simon. Morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. We shall get going in a second.
Good morning.
If you haven't already, you'll need, if you have got some scores printed out, that is marvellous. If you have not got scores printed out, well, that's for shame on you people. You'll also need a pencil. We never write on scores in pen. Mainly because I am, I was going to say flexible. That's not the case. I'm very inflexible. But it may be that I change my mind on things, or music team decide to change the entirety of the breath plan of a song. I'm hoping that won't happen. But you want a pencil. Never write on a score with a pen. I got told off when I was at college doing that, so not allowed to do that. Especially considering it wasn't a photocopy. It was an original score that I wrote on with a red biro. So there we go. And then I found out I was supposed to give it back, but I was like, whoops, there you go. Make sure also, if you have got a pair of headphones that you can plug into your device to be listening to things, it is not a requirement. It will make things a lot easier to hear, especially when we get to Silent Night, because the guide tracks in Silent Night are stereo panned. So if you're only listening through like laptop speakers, you'll still be able to hear it fine, but it just won't be as useful because you won't quite be able to hear it in the same way. Okay, so we'll just give it a minute or two and then we will get going. There are digital scores, and if somebody can put the links in the chat, that would be marvelous. Anyone on the music team, just put in like the In the Bleak Midwinter and Silent Night OneDrive links that were on the music team page would be fab. I don't want to try and open too many Facebook windows on my computer at the moment in case it decides to give up the ghost and jump off a cliff, so to speak. Just letting a couple of other people in. Oh, that coffee went down the wrong way. Right. I am just going to quickly check that we are actually live on the members page. I just listened to myself cough. Right. I am just going to quickly check that we are actually. Hello, Simon from the past. On the members page. Wow, it's like Inception. I'm talking to myself in the past and kind of in myself in the future. Woo, mind blown, folks, mind blown. Anyone in music team got that link yet? No. Okay, pop it in there in a second if you can. Fandabby-dozy. I'm quite excited, by the way. Maybe because I've had about 3 pints of strong black coffee so far because I've run out of milk in the house. Yeah, unfortunately, we're having to self-isolate, so I can't currently leave my house, and I'm quickly running out of all liquid product. I think at some point I'll be putting...
Simon, you know I live like 30 seconds from you and could drop your milk round, don't you?
But that's putting on other people, Julia, and I don't like to put on other people.
It's not putting on in the slightest. Would you like me to bring you some milk?
That'll be useful later on, because I'm getting to the point where fabric conditioner looks like milk, so I thought it probably would make my coffee potentially go the kind of same colour. And then I'll have kind of like jasmine and lily flavoured coffee, which might be a taste sensation.
Send me a list and I'll pop to the... We're shopping. We forgot eggs, so I'm popping to the shop anyway. So let me know what you need and I'll get it.
Thank you very much, my love. That would be marvellous, because I'm banned from leaving the building.
At least it'd be smooth and confident.
Exactly. It'll be smooth and silky. It'll be like the world's best latte. It's like the smoothest latte ever because you just poured in fabric conditioner. But
Never mind milk. I've ran out of tequila.
Oh, Walter, that's not bad. Well, I've got a bit of whiskey, mate, but you're a little bit far away in Scotland. I think if I'm banned from leaving the house to go to the shop, I can't go to Scotland to see you, mate. So, right, we're going to get going, I think, folks. Now, there's a little bit of well, I'm not going to use the word etiquette because obviously I don't have any of that. But there is a couple of things. This is slightly different than a standard session, because it's a launch session. So we're not going to be in this session going into breakout rooms. We're really going to be launching In the Bleak Midwinter and Silent Night, which are our two main songs. So that it's kind of slightly different. If you have, there'll be a section at the end, probably after we've stopped recording the session, because we're recording this so that anybody who wants to watch it after the fact can watch it after the fact. So what we want to do is we'll have a section at the end where we'll do some questions. We may even have questions, and if you want to go in breakout rooms or whatever, we could even do that. But I think we'll just leave questions till the very end of what we're doing this morning, if that's okay with everyone. So if we do have a really important question that is something that is specific at that point, just pop your hand up, and any of the music team, because there's 67 of you currently in the room, the music team will therefore be able to kind of hopefully keep an eye on that and let me know that you have a question. But I'm kind of wanting to kind of go through stuff, run through things. You are going to get a decent chance to listen to parts, go through scores, kind of have an idea about where we're going with both these two main songs. We've got 5 songs, but only 2 of them are collective only. Okay. In the Bleak Midwinter, Silent Night are collective songs. And then the other 3 songs, the Christmas song, Oh Man You Must... When I say the Christmas song, I mean Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. But that I'm not saying that every single time, because, I can also Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. Even if you do like the whole 1 letter per word, it's still far too long and I'd end up doing it wrong. So the Christmas song, Oh Man You Mysterium, Happy Christmas War Is Over. Those 3 songs are joint songs that all the various groups who are in this concert. So that is Tuxedo Junction, Men's Barbershop Chorus, Lux Acapella Mixed Acapella Chorus. We've got the Night and Community Choir. We've got the Simple Tones. We've got the Locksmiths. We potentially have another group as well, but I need to get confirmation on that. Collective Youth Chorus. We've got all these groups who are learning those 3 joint songs. So this session today is just In the Bleak Midwinter, Silent Night. You can obviously, all of you, learn all 5 of those songs if you're really wanting it. And obviously we'll chat a little bit later about the different languages in Silent Night. But again, those things are coming. And if any of you are here who have offered to do sessions in those various languages, looks like we've picked up Portuguese overnight, and possibly a Hawaiian chorus may well be doing something. I don't... What language do people speak in Hawaii? Could anyone just tell me that quickly? It's not Hawaiianese, because that is just definitely not a language. Anyone know what
Hawaiian.
people in Hawaiian, is that a language?
Yes.
I wasn't sure, because I was like, Hawaiianese definitely is not it. That definitely is just, I made that one up. And I was like, is it Hawaiian, or is it like a... I didn't know what the language was, so thank you for letting me know. But yes, it will be fun to learn something in Hawaiian, because I can't currently do anything in Hawaiian, not surprisingly.
Quite a few Americans.
Sorry, what's that? I heard something and then it disappeared. Okay, I'll carry on. Now, I'm now going to share... Oh, I heard something else. So I'm like, I can hear things around my head, and then it disappears. Okay, so we are gonna we will get going, folks. So welcome to this launch event for In the Bleak Midwinter and Silent Night. We are going to run through these. If you got your scores and a pencil, that would be useful. We will have a run through the song, and then I'll track back and go through some things. So this first run through, I'm just gonna go on to my PowerPoint presentation. Now, I have to be honest here. Yesterday, when I was doing a meeting with the music team to go through this, when I screen shared, it basically the entirety of Zoom crashed for me. Now, I have already set someone up as a co-host. If it does that, I'll just pop back in and try again. So just forgive me if that's the case. Sometimes my computer doesn't like me. Possibly lots of the time it doesn't like me. Okay, I'm going to press the share button now. Hopefully Zoom does not crash for me. Here we go. Fingers crossed. Excellent. It looks like you can see my screen. That is superb. Okay, so make sure you've got your scores to hand. If people in music teams, you just keep an eye on those who I've made co-hosts. I think it's Karen and Laura for the moment. Just let people in as they are. That's marvelous. And yeah, let's have a little go through. Now, this is with the score. You will notice that there is some markup parts on the score. And yeah, let's give it an initial listen through. Feel free to have a little sing. You're on mute anyway. And then we'll start picking through the song. Here we go. He says. You all hear that? Excellent. I'll try not to sing along. It might put you off. I've not got an alto voice this morning yet. Red lines are breath points, just in case you were wondering. 2, 3, 4.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone.
Building that volume.
Snow had fallen, snow on snow, snow on snow. In the bleak midwinter, long ago.
2, 3.
Our God had cannot hold him, nor earth sustain. Heaven and earth shall flee away when he comes to reign. In the bleak midwinter, a stable place suffice. The Lord God Almighty, Jesus Christ. Angels and archangels may have gathered there. Cherubim and seraphim thronged the air, but only his mother in her maiden bliss worship the beloved with
Here we go then.
the King.
3 and.
What
Smile.
can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb.
Good stuff.
If I were a wise man, I would do my part. Yet what can I give him? Give my heart. Give my heart. Give my heart.
Wait for the T. Excellent. Good stuff. Okay. So I'm still going to keep on my screen here, but I'm just going to track back slightly and just give you a little bit of a chant. Now, don't worry, these annotations are already in the score folder in the Bleak Midwinter, these exact slides, okay? What I would like some of you then to do is, once you've looked at those slides, they're called score annotation. That's what the document is called in the Bleak Midwinter score folder that you've all hopefully got access to. The link was put out there by Laura. Those slides have been covered. Obviously, what I didn't want to do was annotate the actual master score with all of that writing, because very quickly you're going to know that information, and therefore it would be actually annoying to have that on your printed score. So that information is there for you to follow. What you might want to do is on your own score, and this is a good thing to be doing, is to write in the breath points based upon this on your own copy of the score. So actually it's quite nice to go through your breath points. If there's only one point in this where there is not a breath point, there was a little red arrow, where there's not a breath point where you might think there would be one, and that's the only point where you might need to do that ninja breathing. But everything else, you've got really 2 bars before a breath. There's very little issues with breathing in this song. Okay, there's lots of other issues, but breathing is not one of the things that we should be having issues with. Okay, so if I just quickly go through here at the beginning, all of you can sing the tune. So even if you are a soprano, when you're not singing harmony, you can 100% sing the melody. And tenors, you can 100% sing that melody. In the octave, it is written. So there is not going to be the ability to sing this tune down an octave. This is simply just because, as much as I love you tenors, although I suppose if you sang the alto part down, it would be a bass part. The problem is, and I tried this the other day, it doesn't sound as light and beautiful and glistening, even if you try hard, if you sing that tune an octave down. It sounds... I don't like it. So the answer is no. So I know that there's always a question of, can we sing the tune an octave down? No. But you can sing it in the octave that's written. Okay? Don't hurt your voices, though. If you are a low down bass, singing the alto part in this may be a little bit of a stretch. Okay? So that's the first thing. Sopranos, you can sing the melody at any time you're not singing the tune. So can you tenors, as long as you can hit those notes. I mean, I can hit those notes mostly. Probably not at the moment, though. Obviously, we have our standard breath points. There's a lot of hard consonants at the end of lines. Try to wait to be going to that consonant. So for example, in the beat winter frosty wind may moan, don't necessarily turn to the N too quickly. So we don't want to like frosty wind may moan and like kind of play with it. Again, just stick on your first vowel for as long as you can and really maximize that. It's not even slightly barbershoppy, this, but if there's one thing barbershop taught me, it's singing to the end of like a bar or a phrase, and this is the case here. And again, the guide tracks are quite are kind of where we're going with that. The guide tracks are quite extended phrases. There's not huge amounts of gaps, really. So if I just go on to the next one, the guide track does not have the dynamics I want on snow and then quieter on the repeat of snow on snow. It's the way it's the way the guide tracks are recorded. I actually sang it a little bit quieter, but because I've then compressed the tracks to make them loud enough, there is very little dynamic contrast in the tracks. Okay, I want you all to give dynamic. So you build the volume a little bit on snow had fallen, snow on snow, and then we're a lot quieter on the little echo of snow on snow. Okay? Yeah, when we come in, the first bit, you'll be excited, sopranos and tenors, to be coming in on your little harmonies. So it's loud, but it's not very loud. And I certainly want it to be bright. I want it to kind of cut through, but I want it to be smiley and bright, as opposed to hit you over the head with a hammer now that kind of you've come in, it's like, oh God, it's like, no, not quite that. Just a little bit more calm, a little bit bright. It's a little bit of volume, but not huge amounts. So we are kind of proclaiming this, okay? Moving on from there, there is quite a lot of suspensions in here. So those suspensions where you've got a chord and then there's movement down usually. Suspensions usually move down. I'm not sure if they ever move up, but suspensions usually move down, which means that if you are the tune, so if you're on the alto line, when you've got nor earth sustain, you've got to wait a long time before you move to your N. So it's another one of those N things. You want to make sure, because actually you've got this really nice double suspension move in the tenors and the sopranos, and you therefore altos just wait until on the guide track those notes have moved down, and then put a little N in. Don't turn that word too soon, otherwise it's going to sound a bit weird on our recordings. Okay? Again, when he comes to rain, Okay, turn to the N late again. So when I say late, I don't mean later than you should. I just mean later than you might initially think. So when he comes to rain would be far too soon. When he comes to rain. And the N is like the full stop at the end of that note as you just lift it off a little bit. In the beat, we're into a stable place, sufficed. Again, this time, altos, sopranos, wait for the tenor move. There's a little tenor suspension down. So wait on again on that on the sufficed, because basically it's a T sound that you get at the end of that. Wait for the tenors to hear that little tenor move before you put in your consonant, because otherwise in our recordings we're going to get 350 T's that will be audible. So it sufficed, and that is definitely not what we want. Now, twiddles. I sang this song and I made it up off the top of my head, and then I did a score. Okay, that's how I do most of my arrangements, and I did this from initially for some students at my school last year, and they are twiddle singers. So I added some twiddles. I have done my best to get the rhythm of the twiddles in each part as close to correct as possible. Okay, so the twiddles do matter. Okay, that you try and get them correctly. They're not too problematic, but if we look there, for example, if we look if God all, you see there's differences in rhythm. Sopranos going up, Lord God all, straight down from God to all, where God all, you've got quite a lot of bounces. God all, you've got that kind of stuff going on. Whereas actually then the tenors, God all, they don't have one on the all. So just make sure you're doing your part's twiddles and not making up your own new version of the twiddle. Okay? So just be aware of that. It's not too difficult to sing. It's just be aware that we do want you to do what is on your guide track. It's not just a throwaway twiddle where you get to do like a Christina Aguilera style kind of vocal run over the track. If we have 100 altos attempting that, it's probably not going to sound great. There is a half beat rest. It's not exactly half a beat, but it's basically what I would call a pause. It's a tension pause. The actual Jesus Christ, and it's not in tempo at that point. If you're trying to beat tempo, it stops for like a little bit, and then the piano comes in. That's on purpose. It wasn't just because I was bad at playing the piano at the time. Okay, so that, just listen out for that. You do have the plink of the piano part to bring you in time on the angels and archangels, but do keep an eye on that. When we get to angels and archangels, it needs to be really, really quiet, tender. When I say airy, I don't mean bad vocal quality, but we have the ability to add air to our voice in a musical way. Okay, so as opposed to my voice is not great today, but well, it's not at this time of the morning. So if I was to sing that little bit on its own, so here is the normal singing. Angels and archangels, standard-ish, not particularly great. Now, all you need to do is give a little bit of air and caress to that. Angels and archangels. Just a little bit, okay? It's not particularly great in my voice at that level, but actually for you, if you're an alto, you just give that little bit of kind of like, ooh, that little bit of like Christmas dust, that fairy dust magic to your voice. I don't want, angels and yeah, not like a smoker's cough or anything there, but just a little bit of maybe additional air and brightness, kind of air and brightness, yeah? Like a little crisp morning with your breath going out of your mouth as you walk out in the snow. That's kind of what I want. Here we get to our breath point, the only difficult breath point in the whole song. You have to sing 4 bars before you get a breath. I know. How mean am I? So cherubim and seraphim thronged. So there is no breath between those words. Okay, cherubim and seraphim thronged. So therefore, you want to put the M on the beginning of thronged. So it'll be thronged. Okay, seraphim thronged. So that's where you put there. Just wait for the M, stick it on the front of the word thronged, and you will all be fine. Now, I struggled on this because I ended up singing this in kind of my kind of mixed chest voice on Mother, but I tried to control the dynamics. If you are an alto, you need to float up to only his mother. This is a tender moment of the song, not what comes up later, which is that kind of proclamation of volume and power. So you want to make sure that only his mother is really, there is no, if anything, you should get quieter as you go up to mother, not louder. And that takes a little bit of technique and it takes a little bit of practice. But I do not want ever suddenly, as you get higher, the volume gets louder and then suddenly like mother is too loud. Okay? Because if you had a newborn baby in your arms, you're not going to necessarily be kind of shouting at it. There's only one thing that's going to happen there, and that is tears. And we don't want tears. Watch out for the S. The conductor track will give you a nice S on bliss. The guide track doesn't do it particularly well, but obviously I wasn't conducting myself when I sang it. That would be difficult. Again, there's another little bit of twiddles on worship the be vid. So there's a little bit of twiddles. Listen out for them. You'll be fine. There's a small S at the end of kiss. So do not turn to kiss altos too soon. So with a kiss, it's a little S. It's not kiss. Again, 300 of you or 400 of you or however many there might be, we do not want a huge snake at the end of that kiss. Okay, it wants to be a tender, small kiss, not like a big sloppy one. We're then very loud and very happy. I say very loud, I'm still not talking a volume 10. If volume 10 is the loudest you can sing, we never ever do a volume 10 because it's never particularly nice. I can't remember who it is. Someone probably will be able to tell me, but never louder than beautiful is always something that I was told when I started singing barbershop. Someone said it. But yeah, never louder than beautiful. So this still should sound beautiful, but this is like the high point of the volume in the song. The emotion of the song really builds at this point. The lyrics as well. What can I give him? It's happy. I know that the actual poem, What Can I Give Him Poor As I Am, doesn't sound happy, but the music at this point is definitely happy. It's like we already know that not the punchline, but the end point is love is much better than all of those gifts. Yeah, if you give someone love, it is much more. That is a priceless gift to give to someone. Whereas your gold and your frankincense and your myrrh are worth money, but actually love is priceless. So that's kind of where we're getting to in this. But we're already getting to the happiness before we get to that line. There's more. Oh, whoops-a-daisy. Sorry, there is more. One sec. There is. Did I go backwards? Oh, 1 second. Sorry, I clicked the wrong way with my thing. Yeah, you've got another suspension there. So keep an eye out for the suspension on am. There's another suspension in the top and bottom parts there. So be aware of that. Keep the positive energy. I would bring a lamb. It's easy at that point to kind of let it kind of go a little bit, but actually keep the positive energy, but don't necessarily try and keep getting louder and louder and louder. Okay? We wait for the tenor suspension before adding the T. Again, so part, we need to make sure we listen out for that tenor part moving downwards before we add our T. What can I give? Again, there's a little bit of twiddling there. And actually, tenors, you get a little twiddle. Okay? Tenors, especially when you get gear it of him, that is the only time in the whole song where you get that twiddle at that point in the melody. Do not do it every single time. So it's quite important that you only do the twiddles where they're written and you don't basically like the twiddle and then try to add it into every single time, because actually we do more twiddles in that last verse because the last verse is the loudest and the most twiddly, whereas previously we don't want to over-egg the pudding, so to speak. Wait for the T's. The last little bit on this slide is all about waiting for the T's. Give my heart... Give my heart. It's always waiting for the T's, really late on the T's and small on the T's. Small because there's so many people doing them that we're going to hear them anyway. Okay? And then quiet and gentle and slowing down. Give my and watch the conductor track. The T comes after the end of the note. So you actually go, give my heart. Okay, there is actually almost an audible gap. Don't worry, there won't be, because we're going to add reverb to the final kind of track, so it will still be like we're in a big church. So that note will still be going before we place the T very gently at the end of that. So, are there any Let me just stop sharing my screen for 1 second. Oh, he says. Yes, it doesn't look like it's... Oh, maybe it has crashed. No, it hasn't crashed. Hooray, that's good. Just tried to do there. Oh, I've been reliably informed that it was John Grant. I thought it was John Grant who said never louder than beautiful. So, never got to meet John Grant. Never, again, absolute barbershop legend, but didn't get to meet him. Well, properly meet him. I met him, but I never properly spoke to him because I was scared because he was famous. But that's the thing. It's interesting. There's lots of people on the music team that I hadn't really talked to either because they were barbershop famous as well. So I didn't talk to them because I'm nervous of barbershop famous people. But there you go. Are there any questions at this point to do with that score run through that or anything that I may have missed out? Okay, and we're going to only take a couple of them, but we'll go from there. Alison Linfield, I can see you waving your hand.
Yes, Simon, it's just at the very end. You haven't got a breath point marked in the last phrase, but there is a definite stop between give and then my heart where you're slowing down.
Oh, did I not? 1 second. That's probably an error as opposed to that I meant to. 1 second. Yes, my apologies. There is 100% a breath point there. So that's because I forgot to add the line. So yeah, there is 100% a breath. After give, there's a big old gap. There's a breath point, and actually there's like a pause before you then do that. I will update my PowerPoint presentation and redo the score annotation slide, but there is definitely a breath point after give. And yeah, so basically the breath points are following the guide track, so that the breath point is the guide track. So all you need to do is do what the guide track does, and you will be in a good place.
Thank you.
Any other questions except that error on my part? Cool. Okay, well, I'm assuming hopefully there isn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through looking at time here. Yes, let's do that. To work out what's best to do with our time. So we are just quickly going to share my screen and okay. Yes. Okay. Fingers crossed it doesn't crash. You're still with me. That's good. Okay, so I would like to let me just
Simon, it's still loading on our end, or it might just be me, but I can't see anything yet.
Yes, same.
Anyone
Now
see
we
my
can.
screen?
Now we can.
Yeah, it did have a little bit of a crash there, but I think it sorted itself out. Ooh. Am I back? Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, it's having a little bit of an issue with me at the moment. Okay, you're back again. Hopefully you're not going to disappear again. Can you see and hear that? Okay. Now, this is the soprano. Oh, it's quit again. Urgh. Yeah, I'm getting a crash at this end. Is me back again? This is the soprano, so hopefully you can hear me, if not see me. The alto is still there, but this is a soprano track, so this is just to help you sopranos out. All parts can have a go at singing. Build the volume on snow. And then down in volume. Remember that light and bright.
When he
half beat rest here. Wait. There we go. Good stuff, folks. Just a little bit of air. Singing through Don't Breathe. Control the volume on the high notes. A little S. Twiddles. Yeah, that's the one, Laura. That's the head move we need. And enjoy yourselves, folks. Let's get those harmonies.
What can I give him for as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a
Wise man's your high point. Let's do it.
If I were a wise man, I would do my
Wait for the tenors.
part. Yet what can I give him? Give my heart.
Enjoy this.
Give
Nice and loud. There you go. Wait and breathe.
my heart.
Hold. Hold. End it. T. Good stuff. So that is our soprano part. Let us just work through to our, I think this is tenor. Yes, let's do exactly the same thing for our tenors. Ooh.
Simon, your slides didn't move on that one. We're still on the first few bars.
Ooh, okay. 1 second. Let me do a re-screen share and see if that sorts itself out. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. It's just waiting to bring you all back on screen. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Or at least it is in a second. Or has it properly crashed this time? Ooh, I don't know. Has it properly crashed? I can't see anything at the moment. So
Simon, would it help if we all turned our video off when you're
I don't
doing
know if
things?
that helps, but it can't harm, can it? It can't harm. So I will attempt to reshare my screen and let me know. I can't see any of you at the moment, so let me know if you can see my screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So I'll press play. If you want to turn your camera off, it might make it work a little bit better. So I never know if that's an urban myth or not. But if you want to turn your camera off, it may well work. Make this work. By the way, you have access again in the folders for In the Bleak Midwinter to all of these score following videos. My only apology is that when I did the videos the first time through to create them, the breath points were not in the videos when I made them. So, but the breath points are just the guide track. So hopefully you should be all right with that. Here we go. Tenor part. Again, altos, you can definitely sing along. Sopranos, you can as well. Just let me know if just give me a thumbs up. I can see Yannicka. If you could let me know if the screens actually move, that would be brilliant. Thank you. One, 2, 3, 4. Sing the tune if you can. Little N. Excellent. Thank you, Laura. Be ready. Here we go, tenors. Sopranos, you 2, 2, 3.
God cannot hold him, nor
conventions.
Heaven and earth shall flee away when he comes to reign. In the bleak midwinter, a stable place suffice. The Lord God Almighty, Jesus Christ. Angels and archangels may have gathered there.
Going through on Seraphim.
Cherubim and seraphim thronged the air.
Control the volume on the high notes.
But only his mother
Well done.
in her maiden bliss
Little S. Twiddles.
worshiped the beloved
Yeah.
with the
Here we go. Enjoy.
What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb.
Build that volume.
If I were a wise man, I would do my part.
Yeah.
Yet what I cannot give him, give my heart. Give my heart. Give my heart.
Here we go. Excellent, 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 folks. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. Hopefully you then are on the screen for me. Cool. Pop your videos back on, my lovelies. Okay. So I'll just put my video back on so you can see my smiling face.
Simon, can I just ask,
Yes, Julia.
if we are able to sing in the range of the alto part, but we're doing tenor as our main part, when we come, I know it's a long way off, but when we come to do the recording, do you just want us to switch from the alto to the tenor throughout, or do 2 recordings?
No, just one recording, just switch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because the only part at those point is the tune. So really, if you
Yeah.
want to do the tune, and then flip to your harmony parts if you can
Okay.
do that. Yeah, so just the one recording. We certainly don't want twice as many recordings. Editing.
I just wanted to
editing, yeah.
check.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, so if you can sing the tune, like do a combination of the alto and the tenor part is absolutely fine. Okay, folks. Now, at this point, we'll do a couple of questions on In the Bleak Midwinter if needs be before moving on to Silent Night. I was going to go through the conductor track, but there is a conductor video and there is a conductor track already for In the Bleak Midwinter. But at the moment with my computer, the way it's being, I think that probably it would be a little bit laggy. And again, all the links to all these videos and all the things like that are already in the folders, but also there's YouTube playlists and those links will be launched this weekend as well. So you'll get those links will be there for you if you want to be looking on the move. Although if you're driving, don't watch my conducting videos. That's dangerous. So just thought I'd let you know that. Any questions at this juncture?
There's one in the chat from Sue. No clap or counting at the start. Can we sing more than one part? So there's 2 questions there.
There is no need to have clap or counting at the start. That's not a problem. As long as we can't really hear your backing track, that's fine. There's no need for a clap because it's an audio track one. I don't think there's a need for a clap. I don't think it counts in itself, does it? So no, you don't need to. Yeah, it just starts with piano. So just sing when you're supposed to sing and we'll work it out. And can you sing more than one part? Officially, yes. The way that rehearsals are running, it means that you may well not be able to... yeah, when we have a rehearsal, there will be, if there's voice part stuff, it will be in the same session. So when sessions are on, they're all parts sessions, and you'll go into that session. So you'd be kind of go into the soprano. But if you want to learn more of the parts and submit more than one voice part, 100%, that's absolutely fine. You might find it slightly difficult to attend some of those rehearsals because they'll be happening at the same time. So soprano, alto, and tenor for Bleak Midwinter will be running in breakout rooms in the same actual session. But there's no reason you can't watch the recordings and help yourself learn those. So yes, you can sing more than one part for any of these songs. But as is always, the mantra is, I would prefer to get one really confident recording of one part than two recordings that take the tech team a little bit longer to go through, because they're a combination of the two parts you're trying to learn and not actually the one part that you could have spent your time on. So you need to self-assess your ability to be able to sing those parts confidently, because what we don't really want is those parts that are kind of a mashup of 2 or 3 different voice parts, because you've been kind of pushing yourself to try and sing more parts. So quality over quantity, but yes, you can sing more than one part. Any other questions?
Corinne had her hand up, Simon.
Yeah, I can't scroll, so yeah, that's fine. Corinne.
Yeah, I think I know the answer, but bar 46, where after it's worship the beloved, it is beloved. It's not
Yes.
Beloved.
Yeah, it's beloved.
Okay.
Beloved. Yeah,
Yeah.
beloved.
Okay.
Yeah. So go with the tracks on that one. Yeah, it's easier to sing. Yeah, it would sound quite. Anytime I try and sing something like "Beloved," I'd sound very northern for the UK. Worship the beloved. I'd sound like I was from Lancashire, and nobody wants that. By the way, that was a joke against people in the UK who are from Lancashire. I love you all, honestly, I do. Yorkshire's better though. Any other questions that anyone can see in the of people's hands? I can see Debbie Bramley.
Hi, Simon. When we sing this in church, iron is sung differently, like iron. Do you want iron?
Yes. Yeah, I know. I always wasn't quite sure iron. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I always I found it a bit weird trying to sing iron. I actually at one point I giggled. So yeah, iron is absolutely fine.
Wasn't there an advert that sang "I run, 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 I run, run, run" when we were children, and that just makes me go straight to that?
Probably there was. It might have been for iron. Who knows? But yes, probably there was. Zoom Borbolina has her hand up.
Some versions of it also do thronged. You're just doing thronged.
Yeah, go with the tracks. Yeah. So again, what I am saying is I am 100% not necessarily the correct pronunciation or the correct versions of words, but if we just do what the tracks do, then I think we're going to be all right. I don't think there's any massive errors. There's just choices that I made when I was originally singing it. So I'm originally from I feel your pain, Sharon. Chiron. I feel your pain. I actually quite like the Norfolk accent, but probably we don't want this in broad Norfolk accent, this song. It would give it a different kind of tone. Is there any other questions that anybody can see? Because I can't scroll through the people at the moment, but I'm assuming there isn't. We could probably go through Silent Night. Okay, so there is lots of resources for you to use. For 1 second, just let me close that down. For you to use for all the songs. So I would say that you really want to be having a look at them. Kind of using the stuff that's there, the kind of guide tracks, the different types of guide tracks, the different types of videos. For In the Bleak Midwinter, there is obviously conductor score, which you want to be using. So yeah, and all these the rehearsals that we run, they're going to be recorded and put in folders called rehearsal videos, I think, in each of the folders for the songs, so that if you ever can't make a rehearsal, you can watch a video of it. You can watch a video of that rehearsal and kind of keep yourself up to date. We know that for some of you, we are being back in kind of national lockdown and you're in your house a lot more, so you might have more time. But we also know for some of you, that is not the case, and you are going full-time jobs and you've still got kids to get to school and you've got all the other stuff to sort. So we're aware that the difference in time that some people have or some people don't have is a lot different than it was back in kind of April or May time, when more people were kind of at home and locked down and everything, and schools were closed. So you just have to do what you can when you can. If you can't make a live rehearsal, we're going to record as many as we can so you can watch them. If you can make every single live rehearsal, that's brilliant. And we're looking forward to seeing you. But at the same point, that's why we're running things slightly the way we're running them, so that, you know, you can be doing different things in those sessions rather than attending 17 notes, breaths, words session when you're actually singing the melody and In the Bleak Midwinter, which probably you're going to be able to learn relatively quickly if you haven't already. So yeah, you come out of this rehearsal, then you say, okay, I can send my recording in. Feel free. Excellent. So I'm just going to go on to Silent Night now, folks. If you've got a score for Silent Night, we'll do a similar treatment for Silent Night. What I will ask... Oh, whoops-a-daisy. Sorry, you might not even be able to hear that. I don't think you could hear that. I accidentally pressed my PowerPoint presentation, and it then played the pitch note of Silent Night extremely loudly through my headphones, and I didn't know what was happening. It's like a car alarm going off. So what I would like Karen to do, could you stop the recording